How's it going, Rogues Gallery, and welcome to another Flesh and Blood video here on Red Zone Rogue. Today, we are talking about some of the cards that I think are worth picking up in advance of Uprising, the newest set, and I think now is probably the best time to pick up a lot of these cards, and we'll go into the reasons why I think you should pick them up. It's not for financial reasons. I think it's worth it for you to pick these up as a player of Flesh and Blood, because there's a good chance that they will get more expensive over time, or they might get more expensive over time. So as a player, now might be the best time to pick them up. And you might be asking yourself, where should I pick these up at? Well, fortunately for you, I have the lowdown of where you should pick them up. You should go to Fab Foundry. The icon is this way. They have been a supporter of Flesh and Blood since almost day one. They are a local store here in the Portland, Oregon area. Fab Foundry and the owner on it are fantastic, and I highly recommend buying from them. Excellent customer service. And you know, while you're at it, if they don't have the cards that you're looking for, maybe go and check out Fab TCG cards. Now, I don't have an affiliate link with them like I do with Fab Foundry, but the owner, Jim, is a fantastic dude. You might have seen him in some of my travel vlogs, going to all of the callings. You'll probably see him again in my Pro Tour travel vlog kind of thing that I'm going to be doing. And patrons of mine actually get 10% off of that store, so Fab TCG cards. So definitely check them out. Excellent folks, excellent pillars of the community. They've been around since the start. Highly recommend supporting them and picking some of these cards up from them. They don't know that I'm doing this, by the way. I'm just you know, I want to shout out these guys because they're fantastic. Okay, so let's get to the cards. We are starting off with a pretty obvious one, to be honest, but this is one that it's climbing in price already, and a lot of these cards are going to be already climbing in price. Some of them are pretty obvious, some of them are not. We're going to be focusing more on like Majestics and, well, I want to say legendaries, but this is the only legendary here we're going to talk about today. And that's because the other cheap cards are still cheap, and they'll probably still remain, you know, still be cheap, like the commons and whatnot. But I think these are Majestics that I think are worth taking another look at if they're, you know, not already played. So Mask of Momentum is already played in Ninja, but I think depending on how Fi's mechanics shake out, this might be another big staple card of the Ninja class, even more so than it already is. And it's a kind of card, unlike the newer Mask in Everfest, this one can probably go in a lot of different decks, right? It's not as specific. The other one cares more, the Mask of the Pouncing Lynx cares more about, like, it cares about, like, the attack value of a card. Like, it lets you go tutor for an attack that's, like, 2 or less, where Mask of Momentum is just raw card advantage, and I think it can just be good in any Ninja deck, and that's going to be a theme here. These cards are going to be good in a wide range of decks for the classes that they're good at, or they're going to be... Well, we'll talk about the other part. I think there might be some spicy stuff that has to do with these other cards. So Mask of Momentum, I can see this being a very, very expensive card, more so than it already is. It's already climbing up above the $100, $120, $130 range, and I could see it maybe going even more. So you probably want to pick up a Mask of Momentum. If you want to play Ninja, you should pick up a Mask of Momentum now. Unless Fi is absolutely terrible, but I don't think it's going to be. Think about it. Every single Flesh and Blood set that has released so far, the heroes have been, for the most part, absolute bangers, right? So, like, think of the last set, right? Tales of Aria, Oldhim, banger. Briar, absolute monster. And Lexi won a national, so still good, like, still good. So, yes, Mask of Momentum, pick them up while they're still, like, less than $200. I'm not saying they're going to be $200, but who knows? All right, we're going to talk about the Ninja cards first. This is the card that made me want to do this video. Ancestral Empowerment is such an awesome and powerful card, and we don't see a lot of play with Ninja these days, just in general, outside of maybe your occasional Blitz and your diehard Ninja fan. This card is an absolute freaking staple of the class. It is a 0-cost attack reaction, blocks for 3, target ninja attack action card gains +1, and then you get a draw card. So it immediately replaces itself, gives it +1, so you can, you know, maybe get over some breakpoints, maybe push some damage through. But the fact that it replaces itself is just really, really good. So I like this card a lot. Like a lot. I think it is fantastic, and it's still on the cheaper end right now. You should definitely pick up your Ancestral Empowerments. Get yourself a playset of this card. Like I said, this is the whole reason I initially wanted to make this video, because this is one of the ones that I was like, I could see this being kind of expensive, and I'm really glad that I have like my full set right now. Next up, we have Breeze Rider Boots. So this is another card that it does see play, right? It sees it play in like the Benji Wombo Combo style Blitz decks, but this is one of those cards that I'm just like, I can see this being like busted in Classic Constructed. It's just like, it says, whenever a ninja attack action card you control hits, you can destroy Breeze Rider Boots. If you do, all attack action cards with combo gain go again this turn. And so if you combine that with stuff that lets you just draw cards like Ancestral Empowerment and, draw cards with Mask of Momentum, there's just... It seems like it can be really good and busted. So, Breeze Rider Boots, if you don't have them, you're probably going to want to get them because they're a fantastic ninja card, and I can see them definitely going in Fi. Like, they're just super good. Who knows, maybe people run Snapdragon Scalers or something else, but the Breeze Rider Boots seem busted. Well, breakable. They seem breakable. I should say that. Next up, we have some Wizard cards. So this is the pretty obvious one, right? But it's like really cheap right now, because it's from Everfest, and it's just like disgusting. It does an absurd amount of damage. This is Aether Wildfire. It's just really good. Now, is this going to be really good in Icelander? I don't know. I'm not really a huge Wizard player. I like the Wizard class. I think it's really cool, other than dying on my own turn on turn 2. That might change now in Blitz because of the Stir the Aether Winds restriction or suspension and that kind of stuff. But in any case, Aether Wildfire is really good, and I have a feeling it will continue to be really good, and it's also very, very cheap. Now, there's a whole bunch of other ones that you can include here too, like all the lightning ones, Chain Lightning, Fort Lightning, Sonic Boom. There's a whole bunch of them you can include here, basically all of the Majestics and Super Rares, but I wanted to point out Aether Wildfire in particular because it is absolutely disgusting, and it's really cheap. So, Aether Wildfire. The one that I really want to talk about for Wizard is Scour, though, because this card is a very unique card. It does very unique things, and it is a blue pitch card, which means you can play it with Icelander as an instant on your opponent's turn if it's in your arsenal. And I think it's gonna mess with some of the other heroes. So, Scour basically lets you destroy aura tokens or auras with cost Z0 controlled by target hero, right? And we kind of know by some product tidbits that the two new Draconic heroes, one of them, the Illusionist, the lovely Dromai over this way, uses Ash to summon dragons. Now, we don't know how that's going to play out, but I have a feeling that Ash sounds like a token aura style mechanic, right? Kind of like how Prism uses like those spectral barrier tokens. I have a feeling that Dromai is going to be using Ash or something like that, and I think something like Scour could help combat that, especially if it ends up being a really, really strong mechanic. And then the Ninja Fi, it says that they use their Draconic abilities to summon like a rebellion, a Phoenix Rebellion or something like that. I don't know exactly how it's gonna shake out. It might have nothing to do with it. It might just be like, a combo chain that summons a Phoenix or something. But in any case, I think Scour is a great pickup. It's very cheap, and I think going forward in Flesh and Blood, even if it's not going to be true here for Uprising, I think it's going to be a card that you'll just want to have in your collection because it does something very, very unique and could be just a fantastic sideboard card against strategies that may or may not be very prevalent. Speaking of which, let's talk about some kind of spicy Illusionist cards. Now, we have a couple here that I think are pretty obvious, and then one that I think has the potential to become really good, but hasn't seen the light of day quite yet. So we have Fractal Replication. I love the art in this card. This is a very unique card, and it's very powerful and had a lot of buzz and hype during the Everfest season, but it really hasn't seen a ton of play. Some people have kind of messed around with it, but it's one of those cards that I think can just get out of control given the right support, because it basically copies effects, and we don't know how Dromai is going to function, right? But this could be a card that goes into a Dromai deck and is busted, right? We don't know yet. But at the price that it is now, it's a fairly inexpensive card. I think it's worth getting a playset because it has that potential, right? It has that ceiling to be really, really good when it's not like super played right now, but it could be could be really, really good. So I really like the Fractal Replication, and it's one that, once again, I would regret not having in my collection if Dromai ended up being incredibly powerful, and this went into that deck. Raju Metamorph. People play this card. This is a very well-played card for Prism. It's just an absurdly powerful card. It's a 1/7, blocks for 3, has Phantasm, and even if it's destroyed, you get to create a token that's a copy of an aura you control. Like I said, we don't know Dromai's mechanics and what kind of auras she's going to make. There might be some really spicy draconic talent auras. There might be some spicy new illusionist stuff, or stuff that pertains directly to Dromai herself. We don't really know, but this card is really powerful, and there's a good chance it will go into the new Dromai deck just because of how just rawly powerful it is. And it already goes into the Prism deck. So this is already an expensive card, but I think it could be more. It's not like crazy expensive, right? It's not a Command and Conquer, but, you know, it's played, right? It's very well played. Prism players know the power of this card. People who play against Prism know the power of this card. And I think this could be a scary one going into a season with Dromai here. And then another reason that I wanted to even make this list is this card, Phantasmoclasm. I love this card. This card is awesome. It has really cool effects, but really doesn't see a lot of play. But I think it could see play in the right kind of illusionist deck. And, you know, Dromai might really bring out all of the Phantasmoclasmness of this card. So it's a 3-drop, attacks for 9, which is a lot. And you get to look at the defending hero's hand, choose a card, and they have to put it on the bottom of their deck, and then they draw a card to replace it. So you can use that effect to do a lot of different stuff, right? You can use it to strip them of a powerful upcoming turn. You can use it to get rid of a high attack card so they can't pop the Phantasm. It's pretty flexible here. You can't use it on yourself, which is kind of a bummer, and you have to pick a card, which is also kind of a bummer. If it was like you may put it on the bottom, I think it would be infinitely better, right? If they just have like a crap hand, you can be like, cool, you can keep your crap hand, but you have to pick a card. So that's what really keeps this card back. But I think it has the potential to be really good in the right kind of deck. And who knows? You know, Prism really synergizes with yellow pitch cards. Dromai, I don't know, maybe she synergizes with red pitch cards, and maybe that's just going to be a new thing. So Phantasmoclasm, red pitch card, you know, the same thing is true, honestly, in regards to Raju Metamorph and Fractal Replication, all red cards. So if Dromai does have a red pitch kind of thing, this is all speculation, she might not have anything to do with this, but the dragon spoiler that we've seen so far did specifically mention red pitch cards, which is why I bring this up. They could be really good, and they could be really worth it. So that is going to be the video today. Just a handful of cards that I think are worth looking at and picking up if you don't already have copies of them. I don't want to go into Phantasmal Footsteps, and there's a whole bunch of other cards you can talk about. Stormstriders for Wizard. Those are all fantastic. I think the Mask Momentum here is just so spicy and strong. Drawing cards in Flesh and Blood is so good. That I just had to mention it. Please let me know if you have any suggestions in the comments down below. What cards you think folks should pick up in preparation for Uprising. I think these ones are all great picks. Go over it real quick again. We have the Mask Momentum, Ancestral Empowerment. Love this card. Breeze Rider Boots, Aether Wildfire, Scour. I mean, all these cards do really powerful or unique things, but they're not really played a ton right now, with some exceptions, right? We have the Mirage Metamorph, and it's well played. And then we have like Phantasmoclasm here, and obviously Mask Momentum is played. So that's gonna do it for today. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Definitely go check out Fab Foundry and Fab TCG cards. Like I said, great guys who are pillars of the community, and we'll see you next time.